So this video won't be a ban list prediction or anything because we're pretty far away from ban list season. The previous ban list was dropped April 15th and the one before that was on January 1st. So there's kind of like a 3.5-month interval between ban lists. Realistically, the next ban list will most likely happen after all the WCQs, so probably before the YCS in August. Anyways, I still want to go over a few cards I think should get banned because they bring nothing good to the game. First ones are IP Masquerena and Appaloosa. Bro, I hate both of them and I already made a video on why I think both of them should get banned, so check it out if you haven't already. But yeah, they're way too easy to make and generate way too many interruptions. Like IP into SP is already 2 interruptions, and then Apple is anywhere between 2 to 4 monster negates, and it's not once per turn. Funny thing is, if you ban both of these Link monsters, the Snake Eye deck is going to be so much worse that we don't even have to ban anything in that deck in order to make it more fair. That deck doesn't make 15 interruptions, it only makes anywhere between 5 to 7 interruptions. I said only, but I think you can tell I was kind of being sarcastic. Although practically all those interruptions come from Apple and SP, because if you remove them, all they really end on would be a Harbinger and the Princess Engrave. Yeah, that dropped from like 7 to 2 real quick. By the way, I want to make it clear that I'm not the only one who asked for these cards to get banned. Bro, I have yet to see a single meta player claim that IP and Apple are healthy for Yu-Gi-Oh! They're just not. Stop the cap. Anyways, next up is Beatrice. Don't need too much convincing on that one. The card is completely cracked and allows you to do some really nasty things. So I remember comparing Beatrice to Lava Chain a few months back and how I felt like Beatrice was actually better now. I expected most people to be brainwashed NPCs and say, but Yaksai and Lava Chain is banned and Beatrice is not, therefore Lava Chain is way better than Beatrice. But fortunately enough, a lot of people actually did agree with me and, agreed on the fact that Beatrice is probably the better card nowadays. I mean, both of the cards have pretty much almost the exact same effect. The only difference is that Beatrice is a rank 6, Lava Chain is a rank 4, but Beatrice is a quick effect and can also be used on your opponent's turn. The argument that Lava Chain was easier to summon than Beatrice was definitely valid a few years ago. But nowadays, rank 6 monsters are such a joke to summon, and I can think of like so many good level 6 monsters that are just really nice extenders that you probably want to play in your deck anyways. I mean, the Fiendsmith engine is the perfect example, and we also have bestial monsters, which are literally hand traps. So yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an ever-changing game. An argument that was true in 2016 might not still be valid in 2024. Anyways, I do have a pretty interesting suggestion concerning how we could potentially errata Beatrice. So keep its effect and summoning condition the exact same, but we have to swap the condition for how you can not use its effect if you summon it with a Burning Abyss monster. So instead of having to wait a full turn when you summon Beatrice on top of a Dante monster by discarding a BA, make it so that you can use its effect right away by doing that. However, if you summon Beatrice using 2 level 6 monsters, make it so that you have to wait until the next turn in order to use its effect. So yeah, I'm really just swapping the condition, that's it. In other words, I'm recommending a boost to Burning Abyss and a nerf to everyone who tries to play Beatrice generically. I think this is very fair because Burning Abyss does not deserve to suffer collateral damage from other decks utilizing rank 6 monsters, and it's also fair that Beatrice would be less good than Lava Chain if you want to summon it generically. That way, we could also consider unbanning Lava Chain. Anyways, next up is Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. Yeah, there's like 7 Albions out there. So we can either ban that one or Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, but I think Albion is the real problem here. So the thing is, if we ban Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, first of all, obviously it's not collateral damage to Gimmick Puppet because they don't even play the card. But Despia could still lock you out with Zhaogen or Ra's Disciple or Ido. If we ban Albion, Gimmick Puppet Nightmare could still exist, but it's so hard to just turbo that card out to your opponent without having to play some bad cards. You'd have to play something like Give and Take, which I did showcase in yesterday's video, so check it out if you haven't already. But with that said, if we nerf or ban Beatrice, then we don't even have to worry about that because it's also going to be really difficult to turbo out Give and Take. And honestly, I think Despia players don't really give a shit about banning Albion the Sanctifier Dragon because their deck is good without it anyways. Anyways, next up is King Calamity. This one's not controversial, everyone agrees, let's move on. Alright, time to get into controversial territory this time. This is where people start getting mad at me for being biased. I actually realized every single time people give me shit on my opinions on cards that I hate, it's because they just ordered a card in the mail and they don't want the card to get banned now. So yeah, let me ask you the question, who's really biased here? Anyways, first up is Accesscode Talker. The card power creeps pretty much every Link 4 monster out there, so I do believe that it is rightful to ban it. Why play Borload, Boral Sword, or the Topologic monsters when Accesscode just does everything? It can go to 5300 attack in order to jump over big towers, or OTK your opponent, or just destroy a bunch of cards on the field, not targeting, and you can't respond. I remember the good old days when the only real form of removal in the extra deck that you always had access to were Nightmare, Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn. Now forget about it, we got SP and Accesscode, which are obviously better, and also you don't even have to discard a card to use their effects. Quite clearly, Accesscode deserves a ban sooner than later, but I would say sooner for sure. Banning that card would have a positive impact on the game because it would make us feel like we have more options now that all the other Link 4 monsters are available over access code, because obviously access code would no longer be an option. Alright, the whole world knows how much I love Floodgates, so let's get right into it. I'm being sarcastic if you can't tell. So Shifter is Cancer and encourages players to play lower scale ceiling decks. Okay, Ritual Beast is the only counter argument to that. But Kashtira, for example, doesn't really require a brain, it's very straightforward, and Flunderies definitely does not need a brain when it draws Shifter, Field Spell, Eaglin. The standard 3-card combo, they always have it, you never do. Speaking of birds, Featherstorm is also a perfect example of bullshit. It doesn't slow down the game, it makes it even faster. Now, instead of having a fair shot going second, where you're already at a disadvantage, now you die on the spot. Great card design. And finally, both Skill Drain and Dimensional Barrier still being legal, and a 3 to this day just baffles me. Honestly, I doubt they will get banned, which is again the reason why this is not a banlist prediction video. But yeah, these cards have been overpowered for the longest time and always drastically favored whoever was going first and drew them. And again, they just make the game end faster by pretty much skipping players' turns. Anyways, that's all I had for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know how you feel about all the cards I just mentioned in the comment section below. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Peace.